You're listening to Player Development, a channel focused on the intersection of sports and character growth. Please like and subscribe to support the stories being shared, the growth of our listeners, and to stay up to date with our latest content. Hey everyone, welcome back. As we're going through another video, talking through our relationship with sports as consumers, as athletes, as coaches. How do we think about sports? And today our topic is going to be a really sticky one. It's hard to sort through, and I don't even quite know how I feel about all of it. But we're going to be talking about Kyrie Irving today and his very publicized decision so far to not get vaccinated and to, as far as we know, abide by the rules of New York where he plays and not be available for home games, potentially any away games where there are local restrictions on unvaccinated people, as well as being unable to practice at home as well. Now, to my knowledge, the statement that Kyrie put out is that he's not specifically or broadly anti-vax, and that he is somehow trying to give a voice to the voiceless. I think that's a direct quote from what his statement said. And this is the part that's kind of confusing for me because he doesn't specify quite what group he's trying to represent or what group he's trying to give a voice to necessarily, because the message is not very clear. I think that people have started projecting their images onto Kyrie, and we see this when people start treating sports as an escape. Again, referring back to Charles's dichotomy between treating sports as entertainment versus as escape. That people from the right and from the left, from different political positions, are starting to say, hey, Kyrie represents X or Y depending on what side of the spectrum they're on. And so that might be why people on the left, media members, are starting to paint him as this monster or as a representative of the extreme right, and being reckless and endangering other people. While some members of the media on the right now are maybe saying that he's a champion for individual rights, or someone who's broken away from the fascist NBA system, which I think was a quote from Marjorie Taylor Greene. But basically, Kyrie's just become kind of this projective test for people on either side of the aisle, basically. He's made one statement that, partially because we're not quite sure what to make of it, a lot of people are making of it what they want it to mean. And so I don't have a clear answer for how we think about this. I wish that he could have given a clear message about who he's trying to represent, what message he's trying to get across by taking this stance. I think there is something to be admired in his commitment that realistically, I think the number was that this decision could end up costing him somewhere around $17 million on the season, if nothing changes in regards to his vaccination status or New York's rules or maybe the NBA's rules. So there's something to be said for his commitment there to whatever cause he's very committed to. I do find it hard to weigh, I guess, the balance between what's a very strong impetus in America for individuals to be able to make their own choices about health or about anything else, versus him being a public figure and as such having a lot of contact with people, even if he is assumed to be abiding by all the COVID restrictions and all of that, potentially endangering lots of people in that way. And so just like everything else with COVID, this has become very political. This has become very polarizing. We would like for there to be an easy answer, but sometimes there just isn't one. And in sports, we like things to be simple. Someone wins, someone loses. And in this case, there just doesn't seem to be anything that cut and dry. And so having lived with that uncertainty for the past year and a half plus now in regards to COVID, I think we need to be able to expand our view on politics or issues that have just been made political in sports, and take some of that black and white thinking that's very characteristic of sports. Like either you're good or you're not, you win or you lose, you succeed or you fail, and recognize that there's more to it than that, that there can be things to admire and there can be things to denounce or to call somebody out on. And this goes beyond just Kyrie's stance on vaccination, but to any athlete who makes a political statement or who makes some kind of commitment to a cause that we may not agree with or we may agree with, to let them speak for themselves and not to put a certain narrative on them.